Today we're talking about cars and how they are one of the biggest wealth killers there are out there, especially for someone who is living paycheck to paycheck and your budget is tight anyway. I can't believe how many people I know buy brand new cars or really expensive used cars and they're getting by, paycheck to paycheck. And I always feel like anything that over the long haul is going to go down in value and that potentially is going to be very expensive to maintain and repair when something happens to it is just crazy. So as an example, let's talk about brand new cars for a minute. The second you drive a brand new car off the lot, you're going to lose anywhere from 20, 25, 30% of the value. So if you had a $50,000 car and 25% of the value went away right off the bat, now you've got a car worth $35,000, $37,000, $38,000, literally day one you drove it away. I never understand how that would be a smart move for somebody. I think people sometimes just caught up in I want a brand new car. It'll be a better deal for me than buying a used car. And even if you were to go out and buy a used car that was 40, 50, 70, you can see some really expensive used cars. You got to be real careful with that too, because again, the depreciation on vehicles, especially in those first 3 to 5 years, is dramatic. So I'm a huge fan of going out and trying to find 3 to 5 year old vehicles, cars that have already had that massive depreciation fall off them, because they're going to keep depreciating, but it will not be at the same rate and the same pace. And I know, especially during COVID, used cars held their value pretty good for a while. And so I just think the whole investment of having a vehicle is not really an investment in the first place. It's just a necessary evil that we need, especially where I live. You're not going to get from point A to point B without having a vehicle. So you just got to have one. So just try to be smart about it. But the other thing is the amount of the car payment. So the average brand new car payment is anywhere $600-$700 a month. I know people $1,000 a month or more car payments. And even an expensive used car can be $500 or $600 a month. Now imagine if you're able to take that $500, let's say, to $1,000 a month, and instead of having a car payment, saying we're going to take half of that and we're going to put it to the side for maintenance and repairs and stuff on our car, great. And take the other half and start either adding it to your emergency fund or add it to an account to start saving up for a new vehicle, meaning new to you, not a brand new vehicle. But you just got to be smart about that because, new cars and other cars like that, they're just expensive, which leads right into the next thing, which is the maintenance and the repairs on a brand new vehicle. So for example, my son drives around in an old work truck, and that work truck just has the standard old school big dog metal bumper. And to replace a metal bumper, it's expensive, but it's not going to be crazy expensive as if you had a brand new truck that had motion sensors and motion cameras that were connected to quarter panels and side panels. And if you mess up a car like that has all the new fancy gadgets and gizmos and all those kind of things, then you're going to have a whole lot more costs involved in that. And when there's more expensive vehicles and more costs for maintenance and repairs, and typically if you have those high-end vehicles, you're going to have to put in premium gas, which is going to cost more than regular gas. I know I'm lucky. I'll tell you about my car that I currently drive here in a second. That's a diesel that is way less expensive. But all those expensive things lead right into expensive insurance. So with a brand new car, you have to have full collision, full coverage, the whole 9 yards, which is going to cost probably twice as much as if you have an older used vehicle. And again, older used vehicle does not mean it's not a nice car, doesn't mean it's not safe, doesn't mean it's not reliable. It just means it's a whole lot less expensive than driving around in something brand new. So when we're talking about these things, the one insurance that makes me laugh the most is kind of my favorite insurance that you hear about is gap insurance. And what is gap insurance? I didn't even really know what it was. I don't hear that term very often. But imagine when you buy a brand new car that not only do you have to have all the regular insurance for, but you also have to have gap insurance, which is basically insurance to make sure that the gap, the difference between what you owe on that car and the loan balance on that car versus what you could actually sell the car, meaning you're upside down, your car value is worth less than what the loan amount is, then you got to have insurance for that so that if you got in a collision, you got in an accident, you got the car sold and you didn't have enough to pay off the car loan, that insurance would cover the car. Well, that alone tells me buying a brand new car is just crazy, because if you need insurance to make sure you can cover loan to cover that payment, it's just crazy talk. And so you definitely don't want to be doing that. So again, Huge, huge problem, huge wealth killer. It just is what it is. So what do I drive? Well, trust me, my net worth is better than most. And I, to this day, right now, drive around in a Mercedes ML350. And when I bought that car about 8, 9 years ago, I think, I bought it used. At the time, a brand new Mercedes ML350, I think was in the low 70,000 range, 72, $74,000, which would not have been a super upgraded one. And I paid $40,000 for my car. I wrote a check for it. I was able to pay cash for it at the time and bought a used car. And with that being said, other benefits to me were I'm a real estate agent, so I'm a self-employed business owner. And at the time, that year, I had a really good year and I was in the top tax bracket, and my CPA was telling me, hey, if you need a car, this would be a great time to go ahead and buy a car. And because of that, I learned a tax rule is that my car was over 6,000 pounds. He told me if I could find one over 6,000 pounds, I should. And because of that, I could write the whole car off in 1 year. And so because of that, I was able to take that $40,000 off of my income, which at that year I was in the top tax bracket. So I look at that car and say, okay, I kind of feel like I paid $25,000 for it because the other amount of money was either going to the government anyway. So it worked out as a great deal for me. And I ended up paying, in my brain, $25,000 for that car. Now, even with that being said, it is a nice car, it's an expensive car. And the one thing I wasn't thinking about long-term was repairs and maintenance. Every time I go to do regular service, regular maintenance, buy tires, it's always more expensive than if I would have went out and bought a much less expensive car. So I did get hit on that a little bit. It is a diesel, so I get great gas mileage, and I also pay less per gallon because most places, most of the time I've owned it, diesel fuel was less expensive than if you were paying for premium gas. So again, I look at the whole picture. It is the overall expense and cost of the vehicle. It's not just how much did I pay for it and what is my car payment. It's also about many other factors involved with that. So when you're looking for cars and you're looking in vehicles, don't think of it as just, how much did I pay for the car and what my car payment is. There's all those other factors. It's the overall line items in your budget. And it is not just one line item. It is many. It is the payment. Hopefully there is none. It is the insurance, the maintenance, the repairs, the gas, all of it. And if you get a nice, good, reliable car, then you're going to be able to keep that thing for the long haul and ideally have no car payment. I haven't had a car payment in a really long time. And I think when I bought that car, again, it was under 20,000 miles. I'm close to just hitting 150,000 miles on it. And off you go. And I'll do it again. It's funny, if you noticed today, I'm driving around a little bit of a different car. This is my old car. So we tend to not really get rid of them, but long before I bought that Mercedes, way back in the day, we bought this car. And this is a Lexus RX 330, I think, or 350. I can't remember. I have to go look. That's how much I pay attention to my vehicles. But even this car, same thing. We bought it cash. I think when I bought it, it was 6 or 7 years old, had under 20,000 miles on it, and bought it used. And now we've had this thing for a good 16, 15 years. I drove it for 7 or 8 years. And then when my daughter turned 16, she started driving it, drove it all the way through high school and college. And then when she graduated college, me and my ex-wife agreed to help buy her a car. And she ended up with a small car payment on her car that she paid off in 12 months. But this car that we're driving around right here is now, I think this is 20 years old. It's a 2006. We bought it. Obviously, it was usually probably built in 2005, but this is a 2006. Haven't had a car payment on it forever. And this particular vehicle is just about to hit, well, it just went over 224. It's about to hit 225,000 miles as I am driving around in it today. And so, we keep it because every time someone else's car needs maintenance or needs to go in the shop, or we have friends or family in town that need an extra car to drive, it's nice to have it around. And I can't tell how many times we've used it. This car probably doesn't get driven more than, 5,000 miles a year now. But in the meantime, it's just nice to have it around. It's not worth a whole lot of money to sell to someone else, but you can always drive it. So here would be my suggestion if you are trying to find or be a person that is building up your long-term wealth, okay? Don't buy new, buy a good, reliable used car. Ideally, you can do it without getting a car loan. I've seen car loans anywhere 7-8%. Of one of my friends who was talking to me about their money and finance, her car loan is actually at 14%, which is just ridiculous and crazy to me on how expensive that is. So just know, get a good, used, reliable car. If you can, pay cash. You don't need financing. You don't need an overly expensive car. One of my little things I say to my kids all the time is, if you can't pay cash for your toys, then you can't afford your toys. And I realize your main vehicle that gets you to and from work isn't really a toy. It's a necessity. It's something that you have to have for many people to get from A to B, but it doesn't need to be expensive. It doesn't need to be out of your budget. And just because it's older doesn't mean it can't be nice and reliable. Like I said, most people, if I drove you around in this car and it is 20 years old, you wouldn't know. And it's been a great, good, reliable car as far as a lot of stuff goes. And shop around. There's a million ways now to find good, reliable used cars. So let's go find a good, reliable used car for you. Let's make it fit into your lifestyle and budget. Because here's the thing. Like I said, if you don't have that $500, $700, $1,000 a month car payment holding you back, imagine what you can do to reduce any and all other debts that you have. Imagine what you could do and sort of putting money away and getting ahead of the game. It's just, I think cars are one of those things in this country where people just go crazy with their cars and spend way too much money on cars and always want the new, best, baddest, fanciest, whatever the case may be. So just know, when you're focusing on vehicles and it crushing your wealth, look at all the factors involved. Last time I'll go through it. The actual price of the car, the payment of the car, which is what people get caught up in too much, the insurance costs of the car, and whether it's just regular insurance, full coverage insurance, gap insurance, whatever the case may be on all that stuff, the overall repairs and maintenance costs. Look at the full package and even what kind of gas it takes. I know the Lexus that I'm sitting here driving around right now, my 2006 Lexus, I know one of the things that my daughter loved about her new car is this car takes premium gas. Her car just takes regular gas. So there saves her anywhere, could be 10, 20, 30 cents a gallon, depending on where you're buying gas and those kind of things. And so when you look at the overall picture of vehicles and wealth building, just be smart about it. Love to hear your questions and comments down below. Love to hear what you drive, if you have a car payment or not, what interest rate you're paying. Would love to hear what people are really having happening out there in the real world. Because again, I'll be the first to tell you, I haven't had a car payment in a long time, so I don't pay much attention to what the interest rate on a car loan might be. I just know from a couple of my friends who are trying to get out of really rough financial situations, what their interest rates on their cars are. And like I said, I have a friend right now who's trying to get out of a low $22,000, $3,000 car loan at 14+% interest. And when my daughter bought her car, like I said, my ex and I put in a certain amount of money and she ended up with about a $10,000, $11,000 car loan that she paid off in a year. And hers was more 7%, 8%. I can't remember the exact number, but she got rid of that thing as fast as she could because it was her only debt that she had. And she's like, let's get this thing gone as soon as possible. So hopefully that helps. A lot more to think about versus just, hey, I like this car and I can afford the payment. Just know there's a lot more to it than just the payment, which is what causes people to have problems with cars. So again, thanks for watching. If you want to check out this video right here, this is another one about things you could be doing to build up your long-term wealth. Have an awesome day.